Farmers fought for 13 months. Ultimately, government had to withdraw those 3 farm laws. But 7 demands which the government was supposed to fill up of farmers, not a single demand is filled up. So the farmers are once again up in arms to put up their battles. Those 3 laws also the government took away in compulsion, because Modi government understood it very well. If the farmers will keep sitting on the borders of Delhi, they might lose UP and Uttarakhand, because farmers said that they will go and campaign there as a mission UP, mission Uttarakhand. So it was their political compulsion, and the farmers had succeeded in creating political environment that the government took away those 3 laws, went back on those 3 laws, but did not fulfill any demands of farmers. Similarly, Modi government used the opportunity of COVID situation in attacking our public sector. One after another public sector is being attacked, and when questioned, Modi said it very frankly, look, 100 public sector units we are going to privatize, and we will collect 2.5 lakh crores of rupees. Now our Maharatnas, our Navaratnas, our Bharat Ratnas or our Mini Ratnas, all these public sectors were categorized like this. But Modi is attacking all. Even strategic sectors are being converted into normal public sector. So attack is on all. Just for 2.5 lakh crores rupees of collection, you want to give away the public sectors built through public money. They are named as public because it is public money, the government revenue. And after those public sectors have done immense contribution in the nation's development, they want to sell it off, they want to privatize it. On the other hand side, during Modi period, admitted in the parliament, I am not saying figure something out. This 2.5 lakh crore collection from public sector selling is also government figure. And government figure in parliament is more than 13 lakh crores of rupees written off from the registers of the banks taken by the corporate houses. So you are writing off the loans taken by the corporates and you are selling your public sector on meager amount. That is the kind of politics Narendra Modi government is playing. And that COVID period was also used in attacking the labor movement. The codification of labor laws is happening, and those changes in the labor laws are against workers. And we, the workers in India, the labor movement in India, had fought for 150 years. Our battle began from 19th century. And with the trade unions formation, ultimately first central trade union came into being was in 1920. And from then onwards, the battle under one umbrella of AITUC, the workers fought for their rights. During British period, we got legalization of our unions. We got Compensation Act. We got Factories Act. We got Payment of Wages Act. And we got Mines Act. Several of the legislations we got during that period. But Narendra Modi government, with one stroke, wants to finish off all those. 44 of our central labor legislations. Some are made redundant and 29 of them are bundled into 4 codes. So 29 laws amalgamated into 4 codes. And those 4 codes are very retrograde, very reactionary, very much anti-labor. So that also we want to go to the people and to expose it to them, especially the working class, not only through AITUC, as a communist, also Communist Party, which always stood with the working class, will be going to the masses to expose this thing. Inequality is too big and it will harm the whole national development process, whole peace in the country. It will bring in anarchy and confusion and conflict in the country, which is no good for our nation. What is the scenario? Let me just give you 2 examples. Last year when the report came from International Inequality Report and India chapter mentioned that out of the total wealth in India, almost 22% are in the control of 1% top population in this nation. And 50% population from ground below up owns only 13%, 13% of the total wealth. Means half population had only 13 paisa and 1% top was having 22 paisa out of 100. And the billionaire were in India about 102. The report comes this year mentioning about what has happened in 2022. What does that report say? That report says that the top 1%, which was having 22% of the total wealth, today owns 40.5% of the total wealth. And the 50% bottom, which was having 13 paisa out of 100 paisa, means 13%, is now owning only 3%. 3 paisa. This is the below 50%. But if you look at from other angle, the 5% top having 60%, 10% top having 70% of the wealth. And then if you leave this 50% below, in between is the middle classes and upper middle classes. The rest of the distribution goes to them. So this inequality is continuously rising. India's hunger index is going back to worse. We were 102 just 4 years ago out of 119 countries. Today we are 107 out of 119 countries. And last year, Modi government was supposed to submit an affidavit to Supreme Court because children below 5 years of age are dying in a very fast track. Why it is happening? Supreme Court asked central government to file an affidavit. Tell us the reason why the children below 5 years are dying in such big numbers. What is the affidavit submitted by Modi government? The affidavit says that 65% deaths of the children below 5 years is due to malnutrition. Narendra Modi government claims that, look, we are feeding 80 crore Indians, giving them free rations. Mr. Modi, the food security when you make it together, you are not giving free, you are giving on cost. And if you yourself claim 80 crore people living on the food you give, where does India stand? Out of 140 crore, 80 crore are to live only on the free ration. Where do we stand? And he says, economy is boosting, developing in a big way. Then how come your own crime bureau, Mr. Prime Minister, is telling that last year, the suicides which happened in India, 25% suicides were of daily wages. Those who cannot earn for all the 30 days. Maybe they were earning only 10 or 15 days in a month. Cannot feed their families. So even his so-called free ration is not helping those poor families because the ration is not practically reaching everybody. Now in such a background, inequality rising, hunger rising, budget on education reducing, budget on health reducing, and then you impose on food items also GST. And when the people are asking, our young government employees who have served for 15 years already, and now they are realizing this new pension scheme is rubbish, they are fighting for old pension scheme to be revived, and Government of India says we will not give. Those under EPS 95, government is not implementing Supreme Court order and not letting those people, Supreme Court gave some window to them that they could apply. Government is making formats in a way that they cannot apply on that. All that is happening at the ground level. So, but how many are covered by pension? By the way, if I ask you, government employees, public sector employees, and those in the registered industrial units who have a system of provident fund. Only these are covered in pension. What is their number? In India, they are less than 7 crore. What is the number of workforce? It is 57 crore. So out of 57 crore, only 7 crore are having one or the other kind of pension. But vast majority in that 7 crore is those who are getting pension of 800 rupees, 1000 rupees, 1200 rupees or 2000 rupees. Do you know under EPS 95 people are drawing only that much? So when vast majority doesn't have pension thing and the government says no, we don't move to old pension scheme, which will be actually only for government employees, not for common masses. We are asking for pension for all. When we say pension for all, when we say minimum wage be increased, when we say give social security to them, let the workers who are producing wealth have a dignified life, what is the answer from government? The answer is, look, we cannot pay you from taxpayers' money. You are raising these demands, asking from taxpayers' money. I want to ask Mr. Prime Minister, what is this inequality report telling us? That those whom you are giving tax concessions, they are not paying tax. Those who are being pushed into inequality down the ground, they are paying tax. The very same inequality report has told that this GST collection in India, upper 10% population is only contributing to 3% out of total GST collection. And this lowest 50% who have 3% share in the total wealth are paying 64.5% GST out of total GST. Then whom you are joking about that why we should give you, why we should accept your demands out of taxpayers' money. They are the taxpayers, the poorest of poor of my country. So we want to go with these facts to the common people that we are not beggars. We want jobs, we want work, we want livelihood. We want to live dignified. We don't want your free rations. We want to earn and to have a dignified living and buy our own rations for us. You have put GST on everything. Even a beggar buys anything from the market is paying tax today. Then whom they are talking about? That's why we will be going for these campaigns on the one hand. On the other hand, the trade unions are held their National Convention of Workers on 30th January in Delhi. They have taken up a long program. They will also have Padyatras from July-August period. And on 9th August, Quit India Day, they will have Mahadharnas within their state headquarters. So the working class will be moving in their own way. The Communist Party has come up with their own agenda. Then at political level, other various organizations are moving. Farmers' organizations have once again drawn a charter of program of theirs, and they are also strengthening their movements in the coming days. Similarly, the foreign universities are coming. The funds on Indian universities is reduced. Our school system funds are reduced. So students and teachers are on movement. Unemployment is rising, so youth is up in arms and struggling ahead. So this year before election is going to be an year of more and more agitations to expose the central government, as well as take up issues with the state governments wherever we find that the state government is also not taking appropriate steps as far as workers and farmers are concerned. Just yesterday you must have covered in most of your newspapers, you have covered, electronic media must have covered, that yesterday Factories Act Amendment Bill was passed in Tamil Nadu. In Karnataka, such a bill was passed. The trade unions had a very big strike on 23rd March in Karnataka. That was the day specially chosen, martyrdom day of Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. And the trade union said, we will not allow this retrograde law to be implemented in Karnataka. Because Bhagat Singh, when he threw papers in present-day parliament, which was named as assembly, out of the 3 laws, 2 laws were public safety and 1 was on trade unions, Trade Dispute Act. So it was honor to that great martyr. You fought for Indian working class, and on your day we want to tell, we will not allow these retrograde changes in the Factories Act. Now we had a strike there, and now we find in Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu government introduced that bill in the assembly, and with voice vote they have passed it. And then the minister dares to tell a lie. Minister tells in the assembly, we consulted the trade unions. Such a big lie. Are they learning from Mr. Modi, who is so comfortable in telling lies? And this lie was told, any changes in labor laws means discussions with the trade unions, means discussions with the employers' organization, having a tripartite system of consultation, listen to the all voices and then come to some conclusion. But that was not done. So for us, central government, or if the state government takes steps or changes in the legislations, the laws which will harm the workers, we are going to oppose it. So our campaign will be targeting central government. Parliament elections are coming, but we will be exposing the state governments those steps which go against masses. We support when the state government is taking pro-people stand, but we will oppose tooth and nail if the state government goes against the interest of people. And what a strange thing, Apple company, an international company, asks Prime Minister, we want to invest in this and this state, you make changes in laws. And the Prime Minister directs those state governments to bring changes in laws. How we came to know? Our trade unions in Karnataka gave a call for strike. Then the Labour Commissioner called for conciliation. Don't have strike. And our people said, why we should not have strike? Why are you going to make changes in this Factory Act? Then what did they say? It is not on the behest of Karnataka government. It is on the behest of Prime Minister. Prime Minister met Apple company people, and Prime Minister has told them invest in Karnataka, and they may also do it in Tamil Nadu, the changes, because Apple said that we are ready to invest in Tamil Nadu. So Apple company will decide what will be fate of the workers of my country. Factory Act which we got in 1881 from the Britishers. We got several changes in that Factory Act, pre-independence and then in the post-independence. And suddenly with one stroke they will change the Factory Act. And then they say, so good. For 3 days they will have holiday. But for 4 days they will work for 12 hours without any overtime. What is the present Factory Act? If you take even 1 hour more than 8 hours, you have to pay double the pay for each hour. Then only you can take overtime. And here saying, oh, 48 hours for 6 days, we are reducing it to 4 days. You work for 12 hours, but we don't give you overtime. And then you say workers will be asked if they agree or not. Which worker will like to lose job? If you threaten them, if you do not accept, we will shunt you out. So it is, in a way, trying to use slavery methods. So be it central government, be it state governments. As a communist and as well as a trade unionist, I want to say, we stand with the workers, with the masses. We will not allow this kind of exploitation. We ask Mr. Stalin's government to take back this law. Even his own allies had a walkout yesterday. Take back this law. Don't send it to governor. If you are not taking back, then let it die its own death. Don't send it to governor or you take it back. We will fight on streets. We will not let it implement in the factories. No foreign company can dictate us on our rights of Indian Constitution or our labor laws. And we are already fighting the labor codes which the Modi government is bringing. we think that those labor codes are immensely against working class and they will push us back 150 years away. And that's why, my friends, we think this is high time that the people in this country should understand the real face of the governments, prepare themselves. Either the governments have to change their stance, and if they don't change, Mr. Modi, we are telling, if you do not change, then you remain prepared to be changed by the masses. So you will be given marching orders if you allow this kind of inequality, or rather become instrument in pushing this inequality in this country and taking away whatever rights they have in a democratic setup to fight. Parliamentary democracy is being made redundant. It was opposition parties who sometimes used to stall the parliament proceedings. But in Narendra Modi's time, just 2-3 days before parliament session, they create an issue where opposition will demand for discussion and the ruling party will say we will not allow this discussion, and then the opposition will be demanding and the parliament will not function. During last 3-4 days, all the bills with voice votes and raising hands will be passed without any discussion. But this time what happened? It is not the opposition parties. It is the ruling party which did not allow parliament to function. The Hindenburg report was to be discussed. That was the demand. That why, how come it is our public sector money has been forced to be invested in Adani company? Mr. Modi should reply. Mr. Modi did not open his mouth. He spoke for 1.5 hours in Lok Sabha, more than 1 hour in Rajya Sabha. He did not take name of Adani or Hindenburg report. Does he fear that if there will be JPC report and inquiry, the hand will reach his throat? Does he fear that? Why he is not accepting it? And it was on the issue of Rahul Gandhi maafi mange, Bahar ye bol diya, in the name of asking Rahul Gandhi maafi mange, then we will allow parliament to function. Hindenburg report was also not allowed to be discussed or the JPC committee to be formed. So it was first time in Indian history, ruling party not letting parliament function. So continuity of Narendra Modi government will mean parliamentary democracy under threat, federal functioning of different states under threat. Governors are being used to throttle the opposition-ruled governments in the states. Wherever BJP is ruling, governors are so cozy and goody-goody with them. No problem for the state government to function. Wherever government is with the opposition parties, governors are used as a tool in the hands of central government. That's why we have been asking governor posts should be abolished. And we know about Tamil Nadu, how governor, in your neighborhood we know what happened in Pondicherry for last several years. We know one after another how the governors are behaving in the opposition ruled states. So parliamentary democracy, the federal structure, the economy further to be ruined, and the workers losing their rights, farmers losing their land, that kind of a scenario, and no democracy having any role to play, and the style of fascism, anybody opposing should be shown the path of jail, and anybody becoming cozy to the government, even though they may have done 100 wrongs, will be protected by the government. That is what Nadia Patia case tells us. That is what Bilki Bano's case tells us, and what happened into those cases. So our appeal is to the Indian masses. I am in Tamil Nadu to Tamil Nadu masses also. We should be aware, we should be with the masses, and people should learn what really in India it is happening and save their motherland, the great country India, which is like a continent, a big nation, pride of all of us, wherever, in whichever corner we live in our country. This is what I wanted to tell. And if friends have any question, you can ask me any pointed questions. I'm there to reply you. You see, look, what you are asking is a genuine question. Karnataka BJP government brings that bill, and BJP MLAs all raise hands in support. In Tamil Nadu, Stalinji's government brings the bill, and all DMK MLAs say yes. There BJP MLAs say yes, and here BJP MLAs walk out. It's double standards. We communists are opposing there, we communists will oppose here. We trade unions are opposing there, we trade unions will oppose here. We don't have different mouths. We look at the things on a principled position, so we will fight on the streets. The campaign which now the Communist Party is going to have from 5th May at the mass level, we will oppose this bill, and we will be demanding from Stalin government to take back, not to notify. And the trade unions which are going to have their campaign, they will take it up unitedly there. So we will be fighting it out. For us, government is a government. We want progressive governments for the sake of people, for the sake of state, for the sake of nation. But it doesn't mean any wrong done by those governments will be tolerated, will not be tolerated. You see, it's not Apple company only which is producing those goods. We very well have our Indian good companies, those who are doing well in IT sector. If Indian government is so much interested, they let them promote our Indian companies. We are not bad in comparison to Apple. But on the behest of Apple, changing these laws, will it be only applicable in IT sector? No. Once you change Factory Act, it is applicable across the board. It may be small industry, it may be medium industry, it may be big industry, it may be corporate industry, it may be Indian monopoly company. So changing Factory Act is something dangerous. You will be putting your 57 crore labor force into a jeopardy. That's why we are opposing. We know IT sector boys and girls who are working in that sector are under extreme conditions. They are not allowed to come near unions. If any company comes to know that this particular employee is interested and contacting unions to make union, the person will not only be thrown out. On the web page, they put the profile of that person, and that person is blacklisted, and no company is ready to give them jobs. We know they are not able to fight. We are raising their voice, and we are trying to unionize allied services of IT, because IT directly is fearing to get united, because they will be blacklisted. Now, in such a situation, such a law coming, when that kind of Factory Act is not there, and still IT employees so much afraid not to be unionized, if this act comes, what will happen to them? I know the days when boys or the girls want to have leave for marriage, saying give us 3 days leave, give us 4 days leave. Company will straight away refuse. No. Go on the marriage day, marry and come back. Okay? No question of honeymoon, anything. Then when recession came in 2008, these very young boys and girls were sent on sabbatical leave. For months together they were made to sit at home, and all of them were not absorbed back. We know what is happening to the lives of workers. Highly paid, highly skilled, semi-skilled, or totally our illiterate masses who are living on day-to-day living they are having. It is, law says very clearly, it is not compulsory on all companies. It is not compulsory on workers. Worker consent will be taken. I have gone through that, because I went through that when it got introduced in Karnataka. It was in Kannada. We told them to translate in English and send it to us. So they sent it to headquarters. On the similar lines, this Tamil Nadu Act has come. And the very officials who told there, it is on behest of Apple company, It's the Prime Minister office which has told. I don't know if in Tamil Nadu the officials will tell that truth or not. But those people told that it is going to happen in Tamil Nadu and it will be followed in Maharashtra. So it should be understood by Stalinji's government why to have this kind of investment with conditions. If he wants IT sector to grow in Tamil Nadu, very well approach our Indian companies who are no less than Apple and don't put up this condition. I don't think anywhere in the world by flouting labor laws any company flourished. There's not a single example. I posed this question yesterday in one of the seminar where I was in the training of HR. I want one single example from the whole world where the labor was suppressed and the company progressed. But there are hundreds of examples we can give where the employers were good with the workers and the labor and having proper social dialogue with the unions, those companies flourished. So we have examples this side, there is not a single example there. By bringing in such legislation, if you cannot force, if it is not applicable for all the companies, what is the hurry in bringing? Because Factory Act is already allowing you to give overtime. You can take more than 9 hours, 10 hours or 11 hours from a worker. Already Factory Act allows you, but then you have to pay for those extra hours, number one. You are supposed to give them some concession in their leave, number two. Number three, you are also supposed to take care of their some social security needs. So extra responsibility on the employers which they want to deny, and they want to take work but deny the extra responsibility which will be there with the employers under present Factories Act. And that's why this amendment, it is not brought with good intentions. We doubt. Who has brought this? Dalit and Christians? You see, You see, there has been demand earlier also that Indian caste system is deep-rooted. Even when some people go to other religions, that caste barrier doesn't leave them. That discrimination continues. So if you are wanting to uplift those sections who were discriminated for years and years, and not only years, for centuries, then that should become applicable on the basis of work. We have been saying on the basis of work. The kind of works on which you are giving concessions or the benefits, those who are in those castes and communities in the Hindus, then on the same works and situations, you should give reservations to those who belong to those castes, but religion-wise they have gone to Muslims or Christians. This has been their demand. It's not that there was not. The Stalin government, we got to know that he came up with such a thing. I don't know what Supreme Court is going to do about that. Most of the places Supreme Court strikes away those things. I don't know what will happen. We will not oppose any kind of uplifting or any sections, irrespective of their religious background. We will not be opposed to it. This is affirmative. For Dalits, I know it is beyond 50% Supreme Court. That's why I am saying Supreme Court might strike it down. Might strike it down. But if there is a goodwill to give upliftment to certain sections, we are never opposed to giving any uplifting to any sections.
Karnataka election, very favorable position to BJP right now, PTS. What do you think
About?
Karnataka State Assembly.
Elections. I think BJP knows very well that they are not in good footing. Anti-incumbency factor is there. So they are experimenting also. Their leaders for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, they are not giving them tickets. They are experimenting somehow to win that election. So BJP knows that they are not in good situation. And that goes to advantage of the main opposition Congress. So the battle is neck to neck. One has to see what will happen. It is not a sweep for BJP. It's going to be a tough thing. And maybe BJP loses there. And I think Tamil Nadu government should learn a lesson and not to follow what they have done on this Factory Act. Because our state chapter is planning. We will be protesting. Unions have already decided. Yes, we will. We will organize protest. I said we will go on streets. Going on street is for protest and not for a morning walk. What did she say?
There are some allegations that PMK government passed this Factories Act in hurry because of the political pressure from the central government. Do you agree with that?
Let Stalinji answer it. Why should I answer? He should answer. Prime Minister came here, met him. All of you covered their meeting. So we don't know what was the talk between them or not. How can we know? That Stalinji can only answer. We only know that whenever the government is troubled by the central government without any reason, we stood with the government. Because democratically it is important. We are a federal India. And I know that in Tamil Nadu, instead of saying central government, they say it union government. Because we are union of states and we are not a central. This also comes up in this thing. So only Stalinji can reply what is pressure on him. But we can tell him he should not, if there is any pressure, he should not succumb to any pressure. He should trust in his people here who gave him so much vote and made him to sit on that seat. So he should not lose their trust.
Labor welfare is one thing. Productivity is another. So productivity is another aspect. Labor welfare is one thing. And there is a general perception that the Indian productivity level does not measure up to that of the world center.
You see, Indian prosperity should come. Indian industry should flourish. Investment from abroad, from India, from monopoly capital should be there. We are not opposed to that.
No,
okay.
Productivity of the workforce. Productivity of the workforce.
So those investments coming, but then putting the conditionalities on the workers. Such amendments are being brought in the standing committee rules also, which we have opposed and we have not allowed, that everything will be productivity linked. They are saying that your wages will be decided productivity linked. Now this is dangerous. Wage question is decided, the international formula is on calorie base. And on the basis of calorie plus some additional factors. Like in India, in the 15th Indian Labour Conference, a formula evolved. What should be the basis of calculating minimum wages? Then the employers went to Supreme Court. It is a famous Raptakos case. Supreme Court in Raptakos case said, your formula is correct, but you have undervalued. Add 25% over it for the education of child, for the shelter of the worker. So rather Supreme Court updated that and said that formula is okay, add 25%. Till today we are waiting for implementation of that recommendation of Indian Labour Conference on minimum wages. Instead of implementing that, Indian government has come out with a committee. That committee gave some recommendation. Indian government did not accept it, put it in the dustbin. They have set up another committee, and that committee has challenged the formula of wage calculation itself. And that chairperson of committee is saying, we may give away this calorie formula. We will look at some new formulas. Maybe it will be only productivity linked. Now the question is, will the need of a worker of having dal chawal or sambar chawal or 2 chapatis with dal, or the children's need, will that differ if it is linked with productivity? How can your wage question be linked in that manner? Do you penalize the employers or the HR managers or the management at different levels? If the production goes down, why should worker be suffering? Most of the time, it was not, I say 100%, no bank employee was ever involved in getting loans to big monopoly houses and then not getting it back. If anybody was involved, somebody from management and the governments who were forcing the banks to give those loans. Employee was never. And now tomorrow you say, because your bank lost this thing, because the bank is losing, then the employees' pays should be linked with that. We will not agree with that. So this productivity link wages is another trap on the workers. We are opposed to it. Wage question is different. And then productivity link can think in terms of how much bonus you are going to give, how much gratuity you are going to give, not the regular wages.
What is the position your alliance position Tamil Nadu? Your alliance party is DMK.
Time will tell.
Many ways against.
Time will tell. We are firmly with the alliance at present. We are firmly with the alliance. And that's why we are telling our friend, please don't go for this act, take it back. So when why the alliances happen? Why there are different political parties? Because each political party has a different approach on economic issues, for solutions to them, on several other questions. We have different approaches. That's why we are different parties. Even in Communist Party, it is not one, na? So Communist parties sometimes, they have different approaches. They have different political parties. We may be united on ideology, but in practical implementation, we may be having different approaches. So we are different political parties. So alliances do work on the larger question. When you were to see to it that BJP and BJP's allies, who were actually their proxy government running over here, that has to be thrown away. So the alliance came up. We were with the alliance. We are with the alliance. And that's why we are asking the government not to take the steps which are unpopular and goes against the workers. So time will tell how the alliance moves ahead. Thank you.
Right, Henry.
Thank you. Yeah.
இல்ல நடக்கவே இல்ல பண்ணல இல்ல பண்ணல பண்ணல இந்த விஷயத்துல டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணவே இல்லை. டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணவே இல்லை. இந்த ஃபேக்ட்ரிஸ் ஆக்டில் ரூல்ஸ் இது வந்து 48 ஃபேக்ட்ரிஸ் ஆக்ட் வந்து கொண்டு வந்தது. 50 தான் வந்து கேட்டிங்கன்னா ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட்டு மெட்ராஸ் ஃபேக்ட்ரிஸ் ரூல்ஸ் ப்ரே பண்ணுறாங்க. அதுக்கு பின்னாடி ஒரு 6 அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் வந்துருக்கு. எல்லாமே வந்து ஒர்க்கர்ஸுக்கு வந்து கேட்டிங்கன்னா பேப்பர்லாம் வந்துருக்குதே தவிர இந்த மாதிரி வரல. ஃபஸ்ட் டைம் இதுதான் வந்து கேட்டிங்கன்னா ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட்டில் இன்றைக்கி ஃபேக்ட்ரிஸ் ஆக்டில் அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணது இவங்க சொன்னங்கிற மாதிரி 8 மணி நேர வேலை, அதுக்கு மேலேயும் வேலை செய்யணும். வேலை செஞ்சதுனால டபுள் வேஜஸ் கொடுக்கணும்னு சட்டமே இருக்குது. இப்படி ஒரு சட்டம் அவசியம் இல்லை. இது சம்பந்தமாக தொழிற்சங்க தலைவர்களை கலந்து பேசலை. ஏன் கலந்து பேசலைங்கிறது வந்து கேட்டு தான் வந்து கேட்டிங்கன்னா நேரத்துக்கு சட்டமன்றத்தில் நாங்கள் வாக் அவுட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். கலந்து பேசுறதுக்கு கூப்பிட்டாலும் கூட எங்கள் நிலை என்னன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா இந்த சட்டத்தை திரும்ப பெற வேண்டும் அப்படின்னு. ஆமாம், போராட்டம் நேரத்துக்கு முழுவதும் தமிழ்நாடு முழுவதும் இந்த சட்டத்தை திரும்ப பெற வேண்டும் என்பதற்கான முறையில் தமிழ்நாடு முழுவதும் எல்லா மாவட்ட மையங்களிலும் அங்கங்கே இந்த ஃபேக்ட்ரிஸில் வந்து ஆர்ப்பாட்டம் நடந்தது.
அரசு தரப்பில் என்ன சொன்னாங்க?
எதுங்க நேற்றுக்கு தான் அந்த பில் இது வந்துருக்குது, சட்டமாக பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க. நேற்றுக்கு ஆர்ப்பாட்டம் நடந்திருக்குது. இன்னும் வந்து சம்மந்தமாக வந்து கேட்டிங்கன்னா எந்த ட்ரேட் யூனியனுக்கும் தகவல் இல்லை. இல்லை ஒரே ஒரு விஷயம் கேட்டிங்கன்னா அந்த தலித்து தான். தலித் மதம் மாறி இருக்கிறாங்க. மதம் மாறி இருந்தாலும் கூட அவங்க தலித்துங்கிறத மாற்ற முடியாது. அதனால் அந்த சலுகை கண்டினியூ ஆகணும். எஸ்.